Welcome to Comfort Time with Aunty Yunike, where we share testimony stories. Today we have a very special guest who is no stranger to you, and this is Sandra Ajiman, a lovely friend from way back. Welcome to Comfort Time, Sandra. It's lovely to have you back. How have you been? Good morning.
Good morning, Aunty Mary. It's a pleasure to be here. I always look forward to having a session with you, and I hope and I trust that our viewers enjoy watching our sessions.
I'm sure they do. From the feedback we are getting, I think everybody is enjoying our feedback. So our topic for today is living alone, or being alone, or being lonely. What is that? What do you have to say about that? I know you live alone, I live alone, so I think we're the best people to share on being alone.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I mean, I live alone, and over the years, I've had people come through my home, children, biological, adopted ones, visitors, you know, people that you meet along the way who pass through your life. So at every point I have people with me. Living alone, I think is a stage or a phase many of us go through.
Oh yeah.
And I think I love this topic because at this particular point, this morning I was just thinking about my father. We've lost our mom recently. And so I remember when I was leaving him to come back to my home, he said to me, you know, I've never felt so lonely in my life. And it was so profound because I felt, here is this person who's lived with someone for 60 years and suddenly she's taken away. But I say to him, you know, you don't have to feel lonely. There are people around you all the time. I think from a point of his soulmate, where he connects, he felt, you know, that detachment. But coming back to me, I just want to say I live alone and never have really felt lonely.
You know, that's something I always, when I explain to people that I'm never lonely, they don't understand. Maybe they even don't believe it, because I remember my mother, my late mother, may her soul rest in peace. She always used to insist, Yunike, let me go to Mijireko Kaofo. You know, my mother used to, you know, when we're talking about orphans and we say orphans, she never used to hear the orphan part. She only used to hear the awful, and it ends there. So she used to call orphans orphos. So she would say, sure, you know, you want to live just by yourself. Don't you feel lonely? Don't you feel scared? I said, no, I don't. I'm fine. I can help whoever needs help, you know, wherever they are. I don't have to have them in my space. But she never understood that. And a lot of people don't understand that you can actually be alone and not feel alone, and that you can actually be among people or with someone and be very lonely. Yeah.
True.
So that is something I thought we should also expand on. People being lonely in the midst of maybe yes, you know, with sometimes even with a spouse.
Absolutely.
You know, you can be with a spouse and you feel so lonely, so alone, because you are not connecting in the right way. So living alone is something that should be celebrated.
Absolutely.
Because you don't just wake up and you are alone. Normally it's because you maybe you are a widow, maybe you had children and they've left the nest. You know, so many situations. So you need to embrace every part of your life and enjoy it. So it's, I know some people can't relate to that, but for me, being lonely is a sign of maybe brokenness.
I strongly feel that's a disconnect somewhere. And I like the fact that you've said, you know, being alone is a phase we all go through at some point in life. Sometimes you could even be with people and just want a quiet moment.
Oh yeah, to recharge.
Absolutely.
To recharge. Because we talk about, I remember in one of my videos, I'll put the link for those who didn't see it. We talked about when you are married, you're a couple, your husband has gone to work. When he comes back, many young women will immediately unleash the children on the poor man. And he loves his children and he wants to be with the children, but he needs just a moment to recharge. Because he's just coming from a place where he's been battered left, right, and center,
yes,
trying to organize things, and he just feels he needs to breathe, he needs to exhale. And that is not for the man alone. Women too are doing the same kind of work. So if the husband is a stay-home husband, or even if he too was away but is back before her, it's necessary to give whoever has just come in space just to breathe, 30 minutes, 1 hour to recharge. And then that person can come back to you and you reconnect. But just unleashing the children on him or even starting to share stories when he's not in the headspace for that, that's how you find someone snaps at you or someone behaves badly. It's because you didn't allow them time to recharge. We all need to recharge, and you can only recharge on your own in the safe space of your silence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I like that, Auntie Mary. You know what it is that when your mind, your body and soul are well aligned, being alone should never be a feeling of loneliness.
No.
For me, I find that I'm a very spiritual person. I guess this is where our connection is.
Yes.
You see, because when I'm in that space, it's an opportunity to really retreat, do a lot of introspection, and find a way of connecting with my Creator. You'll be amazed that I always say to you, my life has been one miracle after the other.
Oh yeah.
In that quiet moment, in that stillness, that is when I find God. And I also like to go back to the Bible, as I always do, and say, you know what? Even Jesus sometimes got frightened of the multitudes, not because he didn't want to, but because he knew there is a time when he needs to go back and connect with his Father. And so I find that living alone, first of all, for me, doesn't make me feel lonely. My home is very open to anybody who comes in. So, you can be alone and still feel you have people around you because, one, you believe in the higher being with you all the time. And then, two, I think because I have this thing where I have opened my home and I have so many children, biological and non-biological, who've passed through my home. They are free to come at any one point. And there are days when they are there and I'll say to them, I actually want a quiet moment. That is it. But when it comes to loneliness, there are people who do live with others and they could actually live with a crowd. And feel very lonely
and are very sad.
Absolutely.
So that means there's something missing.
Sure.
You need some healing.
Absolutely.
Because for you to feel that sad, why do you feel lonely? Why do you feel alone? What is missing? What are you not getting? Absolutely. So it's important to reach out, maybe through counseling, maybe through talking to some other people who can help you with your situation. But being lonely is not a good place to be.
Not at all.
And also, I grew up in a huge family. We were like 12.
Wow.
So I've shared in many videos how it was, being the eldest of the girls, because we had my eldest sister who passed when she was young. Then there was my elder brother. So being the eldest girl, I now had to look after all those behind me. So some people, my mother was even saying, I didn't even think you were going to want children because you had raised children from the time when you were 12,
She prepped you.
So now, growing up in such a big family, you're always in a crowd. I think you come to appreciate some silence,
That's it.
Just so it's a different kind of life. And I'm one person, I can go somewhere and really have the time of my life. I enjoy being with people. I can be at a party and be the life of the party.
I know that, Aunty Mary.
But after that, I want to recharge. When I get back home, I just want to breathe and say, okay, that was nice. Now get a glass of water, a glass of wine, or a cup of tea, and really recharge. So I think it's important to appreciate who you are, appreciate yourself, love yourself, and take time out for self-care.
You know, you've hit the nail on the head, and I was just about to throw, usually you're the one on the firing end, but today I was going to throw a question back at you.
Okay.
And that question is what you've answered it already, in the sense that I was going to say, but don't you think you have discovered who you are? It's about going on a journey, excuse me, of self-discovery.
Oh yeah.
And not everybody, some people are introverts, some are extroverts, some really struggle, even as introverts. You could be an introvert with a very happy spirit, you know who you are, you know what you want. And then there are introverts who might not know exactly who they are. They struggle, to relate to people. But you see, the burden also lies with us as the people around such a person must come to the table. Our own, and I always use this word, I do a lot of coaching, and one of the ladies I work with, she's a Malawian lady, very wonderful woman, Tamala, and she trains on emotional intelligence.
Ah, okay.
You've got to be emotionally intelligent around people.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes people are crying out to you without saying it. You must be able to pick it up.
Yes.
So your emotional intelligence should tell you, and you've got to be smart about the way you say it. I know sometimes as Zambians, our culture makes us sweep everything under the carpet. We don't come out very openly with each other. But sometimes, you share a light moment and help people to calm down, to open up, the icebreaker, to see whether they will open up to you and begin to talk. Because essentially, we're our brother's keepers.
Always.
And so if you're able to emotionally pick up that somebody's struggling, they're in a lonely place, help them out of the well.
Yeah. We always, as you say, use your discernment. You can look at someone, they can be smiling, and yet you can see the tears in their smile.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you have that discernment, it's very easy. And normally, people will just open up. I find that sometimes I'll meet people and we're just sharing on different things, and they'll say, "May I talk to you?" And then when it's, "Oh yeah." So you're joking and you're happy with them, and then they tell you the saddest stories or the challenges that they have, but that's because you allow them to feel free in your space.
Absolutely.
So we should always have that inviting spirit to allow people to open up. That's why we're always saying share the videos widely, because in these videos that we have done, we have talked about so many different things, and sometimes people are crying and they are so scared, because these days you share your issue with someone, tomorrow it will be on social media. So people are scared, so they are crying, they are dying in silence because there's no one really to share with. They can't find that safe space. So I always say, like I shared about those two ladies who brought me a 6-meter chitenge. I got one from you, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And they brought me a bottle of wine just to appreciate the channel. But the sad thing they talked about was that a friend of theirs had lost her life, and she had reached out to them. She had said, I'm struggling. And for them, they were like, Kosafie, just be strong. We're all going through that. And yet she was really, really struggling. So after they encouraged her just to say, keep it up, we are all going through that. Later on, they went to see her and she had killed herself.
Very tragic.
So now, a few days later, they discovered Comfort Time. And when they saw the videos, they saw some of the videos that they feel, had they known about Comfort Time earlier, they could have shared with her, and maybe we could have saved their life. I said, okay, we've lost that one, But please continue sharing, because people don't wear their pain on their sleeve.
No.
You will not know what someone is going through, but if you share a video with them and they'll see other videos as they go through, they might find something that speaks to them. So it's very important to share and to be open so that people feel free to talk to you.
In fact, I just wanted to echo what you said, Auntie Mary, and that is, and you said it. When you were growing up in a household of about 12 people, as the eldest female child,
Yes, yes.
you see, especially for Africans, you find that the eldest female child, an African female never leaves home.
No.
You will always be the mother.
I tell you.
They will run to you, and you know what a mother is? They say Nchishala. You are the bin that everybody throws their rubbish onto. And so you must be, but I'll tell you what it is. In a lot of ways too, the people, our elders knew how to raise us to be leaders, to be household, heads of households. And so while your brother might have gotten away with everything, as a woman, you were grounded and taught how to counsel, how to nurture, how to raise, how to groom. It's a beautiful thing, because then you learn how to manage others. But what that does also is that it places a burden on one child. And so you find that an African female has nowhere to go. She has no one to tend to.
Yeah.
Unless you find that space where spiritually you connect, and you know there is someone higher who is able to help you through your process. A lot of times people give up.
Yeah, they give up. The burden becomes too much. But when you're spiritual, you know where to go.
Absolutely.
You know where to go, and that should not intimidate you. And we were just talking about, feeling hot because of the lights. And I was saying, I just shared with Sandra the SOD. The SOD. This is the nutrient that speaks to the cells. It regrows the cells, it regenerates, it makes the body come alive in a normal way as it should. And this SOD means super oxide demustase. And you can Google it, you will find the explanation. It's something that all of us should actually look for. And if you come to Comfort Time, we'll point you to where you can get it. The men are calling SOD Viagra. Why they are calling it Viagra is because when you take SOD, it works with the cells, because the intestine is where the nutrients are absorbed. True. So when you go to the intestine and you're drinking maybe all sorts of medicines, they will not be absorbed because your intestine is thick. But when you drink SOD, it softens the intestine and allows the nutrients, the vegetables, the fruits, everything that you are eating to be absorbed, and therefore the body will come alive. And it will address issues like high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, even those who've had strokes. You put them on SOD for just 1 week, they're able to talk and they're able to walk. Why? Because the parts that had died have come alive from the SOD. So as women, one thing that I'm so appreciative about is that I no longer have hot flashes. Those the women who are menopausal will know what I'm talking about. You are always sweating. My sister has a good term for it. She calls it my inner summer. So every time she would have that episode of just
with the handheld fan.
So she would just say, sorry, give me a moment. I'm having my inner summer. But now you don't even have to ask for a moment. The SOD balances the hormones. And you don't have to take it forever. You just take it for 6 weeks. But you see the benefits. I stopped having the hot flashes within a week.
Sure.
And I kept on looking for them and thinking, I haven't had hot flashes. What's going on? What's going on? Just to see that when I reached out, I was told, no, it balances hormones. And that comes from hormonal imbalance. So please ensure that you reach out to Comfort Time to also have that dealt with. So SOD is for everyone, men, women, and the young ones. It answers even to issues like sickle cell anemia. It's every ailment. And so loneliness, sickness should not be tolerated. We have the answer. So Sandra, in closing, what can we say to those who feel alone, who feel lonely?
Loneliness is not a good place, but it is okay to feel that way because we're human beings.
It's normal.
It is normal. But when you do feel lonely, I personally find that prayer works for me. Prayer is my first call. I will seek my Creator. I know I will be comforted there. And while our Creator might be invisible, we don't see Him. We see Him all around us, in the people around us, in His creation. Sometimes when you feel, for me, I'll bury myself in a bit of work, something that I enjoy doing. It lifts me up. But I also reach out for friends and speak to people who really have a listening ear. And I think this is where we've talked about having that discernment to know when people want to reach out for you. You know, a smile can change the course of somebody's life. I remember one of your episodes, you'd actually mentioned that someone had sent in a message saying, you do not know what this Comfort Time did for me. I was at that point where I was completely shattered and broken, and listening to one of those episodes really lifted me up. You could really change the course of somebody's life. No one should have to take their life.
No.
So let us all reach out to the next person and see whether they are doing okay. Some might feel very lonely because of the people they are surrounded by, but a total stranger can make a whole difference. You know, a smile can make a difference. So prayer is the first point. And then secondly, learning to open ourselves up a little bit more to other people. I know in today's world there are issues of trust and confidentiality, but I think if you really need to reach somebody, talk to them and say, look, I would like to keep this confidential. I would like to believe that I can trust you. Can I open up to you about this and begin a conversation? But obviously choose who you're speaking to and make sure they are mature enough to help you to get to the next level. So turn to God. You'll never feel lonely.
And while people may let us down and may share our stories, we have other safe spaces we can go to. You know, YouTube is actually a school. There are so many things on YouTube that can teach you so much. So look for what you're looking for. Go to YouTube and search. You'll find that there are so many topics that can speak to you. And here locally, we have Chinama, and it's our fault. We have stigmatized Chinama. We have special people there. We have doctors who are ready and able and will not share your stories with anyone. So reach out to them. Take care of yourself by ensuring that you get the help that you need. So whether it's through Chinama Hospital, mental hospital, or whether it's through YouTube or through other people who can help you, take care of yourself. You only have one life to live. Live it well. So thank you so much, Sandra, for coming. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. Very well said. Thanks for that beautiful conclusion. Yes, there is, there are people who are there to help you with psychosocial counseling. Let's not stigmatize. Yeah, please reach out. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Sandra, for coming. Loneliness is an issue that should not be an issue. It's there. We are human beings. We are lonely. We are meant to be with other human beings. But when we are not, let's reach out to God. Let's find other things that interest us. Go for gamings, go for whatever you can, but do not say you are lonely and stay without any help, without anything that takes that loneliness away from you. And sometimes I've seen people, Sandra, who they will go and buy like drinks to come and then call people. So, oh, you guys have got beers, I've got what? Please come. And then people come, they drink that beer. After they've drunk, they go. So when they go, what happens? You're lonely again. So do it for the right reasons. Have people around because you want to be around people, but not to address the loneliness, because it's just for a moment and then you're in trouble. So comfort time continues. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, please do give us a thumbs up always. It helps YouTube to share our videos. And also subscribe. I pray you have subscribed. So comfort time continues. See you in the next video.